Well, now, this is a little bit awkward because at the... Well, not in the end of the last video, but during the last video and certainly in subsequent videos, I've been struggling with the case of one Eugenio Atuesta, one of our wonder kids who we signed, essentially, so he'll either do very well or we'll make a profit on him. And we kind of resigned ourselves to the fact we're probably going to have to sell him because he's just not playing very well. Then he won the next gen, and I've had to reconsider. And early days, but I think we've managed to solve... Well, I'm going to say, not solve him, but he scored a few goals, so I'll take that as a minor win. Hi there, how you doing? Welcome to part number 14 of club number 3 of the MyCareer save here on Football Manager with Wolverhampton Wanderers. You can see I've started on the screen with the next gen, with him winning the next gen, so we're just going to go right into that. But my name is Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video, where we are going to be playing the second leg of the quarter-final of the Europa League, and we'll see where we go from there. But I think I've already got an idea what we're going to be doing for the second video. Spoilers, it's probably going to be us sticking in Europe. Sorry, FA Cup, although we did win that last season. And if you're excited to see how we get on in today's video, then you can show that by leaving a like on there for me onto the video. And you can also hit the subscribe button as well if you want to watch more content from this channel in the future, so you keep up to date with the nonsense that comes out of this wonderful face right here. So, there it is. He has won the next gen, which is a bit of a shock. And we've also got Solomon Owusu, who is a Ghanaian international at Benfica. He looks very good, by the way, at 19. Don't think we'll ever get him, but he looks very good indeed. So I keep half an eye on him as a defensive midfielder come central defender. Then we've got... Oh, that's the wrong year. I clicked on the wrong year there. And then we've got this guy. Good luck with me pronouncing this one. We've got Alexander Kiselichkov. Yeah, that was alright. I think we nailed that one. Bulgarian international at Valencia, wonder kid, and 19 years old. Can't quite see how good he is, but another centre-back actually. So the defenders are kind of ruling the roost, but we do have a striker in the number 1 spot, and that is all that matters. And to be fair to him, he's definitely been doing better in recent games. Now, I know I talked a lot in the last video oh God, about tactics, particularly at the beginning, and how I was determined that probably we're going to end up with a 3 at the back, but I was also starting to shy away from it. Well, I've gone the other way. We're back to a 3 at the back, and the reason why I'm back at 3 at the back now is because I did play it in the last 3 games. Ignore the Frankfurt game where it says it's slightly... I mean, to be fair, all 3 games I did tweak the formation slightly. I settled on the one that we've got now. That's the one we've actually used for both of those games for the majority. It's just not showing it very well. 2 strikers, attacking midfielder, 2 central midfielders, 1 of them on defend, 1 of the wing backs on attack. It's been, as you can see, pretty good. Okay, we only beat Leicester 2-0, but it was a comfortable 2-0. But look at who scored in that game. One Eugenio Atuesta, who the last time he scored for us was against Villarreal, where we played 3 at the back. Against Newcastle, we started with 4, but then we went to 3 at the back. And the last time he scored for us before that was before we even considered 3 at the back, I think. I could be wrong on that, though, but it was somewhere in here. There it is. But as you can see, scored 2 there. Got a hat-trick against Brighton. And I don't think he played particularly well against Frankfurt. However, as you can see, since you were last with me, we did beat Frankfurt quite heavily. And Brighton as well. That was quite fun. But we did batter Frankfurt, which was quite nice. So the last time you saw me was Port Vale. It's not been that many games, to be fair. We did play a cheeky friendly against Sutton Coldfield there, but it's been 4 really good wins since the Port Vale game. We've battered goals in. It's been really nice, actually, and it's good to see Atuesta scoring. It's good to see Fernandez as well, getting 2 braces, actually. Didn't realise he'd done that well. And back here as well, Port Vale, obviously Ben Cook scored there. Ben Cook has still been playing relatively well since then. Okay, didn't have a particularly good game in that one. In that one, I don't think he started. In this one, he got a hat-trick. And in this one, I think he did quite well. He did okay. I think he got an assist or 2 in that one. So, he's doing pretty well. So, quite happy with that. So, yeah, it's a it's a bit of a weird one, really. So, maybe 3 at the back is the answer. Andre's not completely clicked in it yet. Shawquist is getting there. Fernandez is having a lovely old time. Mike Nuri's doing pretty well. We're getting there with the defence. Bietic has become a defender, whether he likes this or not. Ute is probably not going to start. I want to put Owino in there, I think. Andre I'm going to bring out as well. We'll pop in Matt O'Reilly just for freshness. But yeah, the defence is okay. I'm getting to grips with who's better where. Awino can't do wide centre-back, for example. He doesn't play well there. But in the middle, he does okay. Ute, I tried him as a covering defender for some reason. I don't quite know why I did that. I also did the same with Bietic. Neither did really well. But Bietic seems to be okay out wide. Ute can do both to a degree. I think he just has to be a ball-playing defender. And Dan Hughes is Dan Hughes, he can do whatever. And Mapiu, to be fair, as someone who can play as a left-back, will be fine as a wide centre-back once we get to that point as well. He is, by the way, finally at the point where he is like starting the occasional game now. He hasn't started many. In fact, he's only started one. But that was against Brighton where we won by 5-1. So that was absolutely fantastic. Right, I'm rambling. Let's get to the game against Brighton. It's not Brighton, it's Frankfurt. I'm getting the teams mixed up at this point. But let's get to the game and let's see what we can do. I should probably put some up. I mean, they want us to put a lot of opposition instructions on. We're not putting this many on. I'm certainly not going in hard on the fullback. I don't necessarily think I'm going to go in hard on the defensive midfielder. I'm quite happy to go in hard on you guys, but my word, that was a lot of instructions. I don't think I've seen that many instructions recommended for some time. Fun fact as well, obviously the Europa League Young Player of the Year is kind of being looked at. This guy is one of the players who's up for it, who I did actually try to sign. Well, I didn't try to sign him, but I looked at him. I was considering signing him from Sunderland when we first came to Wolves. He looks like a very good player. The other 4 players who are currently up for that award, all of them players from our team. I can't remember exactly who it is, but there are like 4 other players who are involved. I'm pretty sure Atuesta is one of them. Ben Cook, I'm pretty sure, is one of them. Showquist might be one of them. Danny Hughes might be. I can't remember, but there's like 4 of them. In fact, it literally was only a couple of in-game days ago. Where is it? It was here. Cook's tip for it. Leifson, Showquist, Awino, and then John Patenya. So John Patenya is the other player who obviously we're going to be encountering today. Not much happened with him in the first game, obviously, but that was at home for us, so we have to bear that in mind. But we have got a big advantage. Realistically, we probably could skip this game. 5-0 is a heck of a scoreline to go wrong. So I touch wood, and I have got a wooden table. We should be all right. They are 5th in their league, by the way, just to point out. So they are kind of Champions League going up to, Europa League, looking for Champions League kind of team. Kind of like we're starting to become. We're currently 6th in the Premier League table, so it'll be interesting to see. What I do want to do is build a partnership between Cook and Atuesta, because I think that could be game-changing if we can develop that. What we do need to do, if we persist with this system or a 2-striker system next season, is we need to look at the striker situation at the moment. We've just got Jara. Jara, I don't think is good enough. I'll be honest. If I'm looking to sell anyone at this point, it's probably Jara. Oh my word, what a mistake that is. And Atuesta, I mentioned in, I don't know if it was last episode or a couple of episodes before, Atuesta sometimes plays a bit like a poacher, even when you're playing him in another role like an advanced forward. And it kind of feels like this here. He's waiting, he's ready for a mistake, pounces on it, and he knows where the back of the net is, and that is a very easy 1-0, 6-0 overall. Oh, it makes me happy to see him scoring goals on a semi-regular basis. That's 3 games in 4 that he's scored goals in, and 2 of those games he's scored more than 1, and this one's only just started, so that's fantastic. But yeah, what we need to do, I need to work out what to do with Jara, but if we go with this system, we need to balance it out where we have a playmaking forward, a deep line forward, and also an advanced forward. We need to have one of each of those who can fill in those 2 roles, or someone who can do a bit of both. Jara at times can do a bit of both. Ben Cook at times can do a bit of both. But we do need to find someone or someones to fill that void in. I'm a bit worried about how much of the ball Frankfurt are now having. We are at their place, of course, though. So, at the end of the day, they are going to be dominant a little bit. Worried me a little bit there. Right, Shockwist. Gets it out wide to Leifson. Leifson, looking for options. I thought Shockwist was going to go over there. Ooh, let's be a bit more careful here, boys. Right, back to Bietic. Bietic now. Gets it over to Leifson. Leifson inside to O'Reilly, playing instead of Andre in the middle just to give Andre a bit of a rest. Over to Hughes. Hughes out to Fernandez. Fernandez biding his time, waiting for the right pass. Goes back to Awino instead. We're struggling to break through him a little bit here, but we are being patient. Right, Hughes back to Aitnouri. Aitnouri forced to go backwards again. I'm a bit worried because we're going backwards so much that I feel like we're going to lose the ball at some point. Right, Cook into Shockwith. Shockwith's going to go out wide to Leifson. He does. Leifson driving into the box, into Cook, and that is 2-0. We were patient, we waited, we didn't try and rush it, and we waited for the right moment, and it came from out wide where we've got the wing-backs pushing further up, who passed the ball to the right player, and it's all of a sudden 2-0. And Sharquist was involved in that as well. Leifson, really good to see him. More of a defensive wing-back, good to see him getting forward and getting involved. And good to see Cook scoring in the same game as Atuesta as well. Those two really starting to look like they could be a good pair of strikers to have. We've got an injury to Aït-Nouri and a red card as well, but I'm a bit more concerned about the fact that Aït-Nouri went down. There's no injury icon, so we might have gotten away with that. Of course, we had a really bad injury to him before we even got here last season, so we had to do the first half of the season without him, and then we did have to do a little bit of this season without him as well. Right, Atuesta takes the ball down really well to Fernandez. So much confidence in Atuesta now. It's fantastic to see. Not good at long shots. I'd have rather him not done that. But do you know what? He's in the form that he could just probably just ping that top bins just because he wants to. Right, on the ball again. Cook now. Into Atuesta. That's a lovely, lovely pass from Cook. And that's why when we had the 4-2-3-1 and we had Cook in there, that's why I was obsessed of having a deep line forward. Because the deep line forward can just create that space for another player to run into and just pass the ball with precision. Like, he's a striker. The defender there, him, was pulled slightly out of position there, which allowed a bit more room for Atuesta to run into. And now we are absolutely cooking. The pun's intended, and I don't even care. I don't care how cheesy it is. Fantastic stuff. Fernandez not having a particularly good game. He's had a really good few games, so I'm not that bothered about that. I'll probably bring him off at half-time and give him a bit of a break, to be honest with you. 8-0 overall. I mean, the game is over, but you know what? I'm having too much fun. I ain't going to skip it. We're going to watch it to the end. Patenya looking to get a goal here. He runs into the box. He's probably going to get one. It's gone wide, actually. Yeah, Patenya is someone I really was interested in. Like, he looks like I nearly hovered over him then. You don't do that on Football Manager, because if you hover over a player while you're playing a game, it means that they're going to then have a good game against you. So he would have scored, and I'd have been very sad. Shockwist, he's going to go for it. Oh, he does. And Michael Shockwist, 18th of the season. Of course, his goal return has dried up as we have moved him further back. But he has been getting assists. He has been being involved in the build-up play. By the way, just want to flag, O'Reilly's having a really good game as a playmaker. What a useful utility signing that man was. Like, I thought he'd barely get any game time. He ended up being the attacking midfielder behind the striker in the 4-2-3-1. And he's filled in remarkably for Andre when we've needed him to. Like, with aplomb. He's been very, very good. Got another corner here, by the way. And we've gone and scored a fifth. In the first half, we've made it 10-0. And we've matched our score in the first game at half-time in this one. Shockwist with the corner, so he now has an assist, and Hughes now has a goal. Well, I'm not sad about it. Far from it, in fact. I'm delighted. 5-0. Alright, cool. I'm very happy. Very happy indeed. So much so, I'm going to make some substitutions, I think. Well, let's take off... I'll tell you what. Caceres can come on for Shockwist. We don't need Shockwist out there anymore. We just don't. His job is done. We're 5-0 up. Let's give Caceres some football. I'm also going to bring on Hinselwood for Bajetic. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because Hinselwood hasn't played much as a... The problem is he doesn't really play as a wide... I don't really get that because he can play as a wing-back. So I don't quite know why he can't play as a wide centre-back. But let's give him some minutes as a wide centre-back. I might probably start training him on that as well, because that's probably now we don't use a defensive-minded midfielder that's not a playmaker. That's probably where he's going to play as well as fullback. And then I'm going to make a third change as well. It's actually going to be Leifson can come off. I'm going to bring on Lewis McKernan, because Lewis McKernan can play as a wing-back. So let's bring him on as an attacking wing-back and just see whether he can have some football. I was going to bring off Fernandez as well. Fernandez, I mean... We have got the FA Cup coming up, so I probably should do that. Then we just have the one substitution left. Do you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's bring on Damsgaard and give Damsgaard some football. Let's do that. Feels like a good shout. And then we'll save that substitution until the final 10 minutes. I don't know what we'll do. Right. What we'll probably do... instead of just sitting here for ages having goals going, which is what could possibly happen, what I'll do is I'm going to splice the second half up. We'll come back for any important moments like goals and things like that. But other than that, we'll just go to the end of the game because we're 5-0 up. We were 5-0 up in the first leg anyway. It's 10-0 on aggregate. We've got another half football to play. We're going to be here forever. Let's just skip to the ends. Unless there's goals, of course. You'll never believe this, but Dan Hughes has gone and scored again. It's 6-0, 60th minute. It's just turned 60 minutes now, actually. And Dan Hughes has just gone and scored from another corner. The second half, I should say, has actually been mostly Frankfurt, but we've gone and scored from that corner there. Delighted. If you look at the shots as well, it's been a very even game. XG's not far away. We've just been clinical. As it turns out, that was it. That is the end of the game. They did have a few more chances, to be fair to them, Frankfurt, but they just couldn't get anything either on target, or if they did, Trafford with a 7.8 was more than good enough to deal with it. So that goal by Dan Hughes in the 60th minute was the final kind of goal contribution. Again, we had chances, they had more chances. The second half, they actually took over, as you can see. XG, very, very close. Shots, they had a lot more of. But we were clinical, which is good to see because that's been a complaint from myself for the team. And what I loved about the performance as well is we looked good when we went forward as well. McKernan at right back, by the way, 6.9 rating. Not bad. Not bad at all. So I'm hopeful that maybe he's got... Maybe we figured out how to play him without playing him as a winger. Maybe it just took us to play 3 at the back with a wing back who can't tackle because he's tackling. He's well under 10. But yeah, fantastic performance. Really happy with that overall. You didn't miss that much in the second half, so I'm quite happy that we did what we did there and just came back for that one goal. Right, so that is that. We're through to the... What is that? The semi-final? Yeah, it is. So we're now through to the semi-final. So the question is... Sporting. Now, this is an interesting one. I don't know. Frankfurt are the same reputation level. Who do you think's better between Frankfurt and Sporting? You'd assume Sporting. Because Sporting are second in their league. They won it back in 2023-2024. So the first season of the save, they won it. They've been second or third ever since. I mean, you'd assume that they're going to be a more tricky proposition. But then at the same time, did you see what we did to Frankfurt over 2 legs? So, I don't know. O'Reilly, by the way, 2 assists. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, because I think he was taking corners, wasn't he? What a game he had. So, I do think we've got to come back for that. Apologies to... Let me just move myself over. There we go. Newcastle is obviously next in the FA Cup. I'm going to skip that one, because we won the FA Cup last season. We don't really need to be worrying too much about that as a competition while we're at Wolves now. If we get to the final, we will be playing that on camera, obviously. So what I now need to do is play a number of games and get us through to that game. So, I mean, that's a lot of games. Unless do I tie it in with the final? Do we play Newcastle? And do I tie it in with the next video, which is the end of the season? So I've just had to have a bit of a pause just to try and work out what we're going to do. The plan was, if we got through to the Europa League semi-final, we'd play the second leg of that in this video, but I didn't quite expect there to be so many games between it, which I probably should have expected, to be honest. Equally, I don't know if I expected there to be only 2 games left with the season after playing that game. So it's a question of what do we do with this video. So what I'm definitely going to do is I'm going to play Newcastle off camera. I'm going to do that. And then we'll work out what we do for the final episode or 2 or even 3 of the season. Because if we get through to the final, that will be in its own video. But the last video should really be Chelsea or Burnley, unless there's nothing to play for. If we have a quick look at the league, as it stands right now, anyone in the top 7 is going to be in Europe. As it stands right now, we have a 3-point gap between ourselves and Manchester City, and we're well out of risk of not being in Europe at this point. There's 5 games left. That's 15 points. What's that? That's 13-point gap, 16-point gap. We are absolutely safe. The minimum we'll be in is the Conference League. We obviously want to be in the Europa League at a minimum. the next season to maintain what we did this year. We still could technically get into the Champions League, but I'm not going to hold out any hope for that. I think that would be a little bit ridiculous. But then if we win the Europa League, we could be in the Champions League anyway. So who knows what's going to happen. So yeah, I'm going to go and play that game off camera against Newcastle. And we'll see what happens. And we'll see whether we can get to an FA Cup final, because that also might change what happens in the next couple of videos. So let me go and do that. Hopefully we win. If we do, excellent. If we don't, we did it last season, so who cares? Right, give me a moment. I'll be back.
That's really annoying.
Oh, it's exactly what happened against Arsenal. Well, not exactly, but we were much closer to Newcastle than we were to Arsenal. Very unlucky in this game. So we do lose. It is 2-2 overall after extra time. It's a penalty shootout loss. Tino Livramento was the villain twice. He actually scored the equalising goal in the 103rd minute, and he also scored the winning penalty as well. Patricio Jara and Lewis McKernan missing penalties for us, and William Pacho missing a penalty for them. We also had 2 disallowed goals at Tuesta with both of them. They were both offside, but it's just unfortunate with the form that he's been in. Oh, I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted. But you know what? We've got 4 semi-finals in 2 years. That being 2 Carabao Cup Carabao Cup semi-finals and 2 FA Cup semi-finals, and also within that 3 finals, 2 Carabao Cup finals, 1 FA Cup final, which we won last year. So I'm fine with it. Every now and then you're gonna just fall short, and today we've fallen short. I've also realised I never moved my camera back over to the other side. I never moved it back over. I've just been rocking with that one. I'm a little bit gutted about that, but it is what it is. But now that's out of the way, we can focus on Sporting. We can focus on getting to that second game against Sporting and seeing how we do. We've got the home game, remember, second, so it is what it is. But before that, I'm just going to go and deal with a few league games as well as the first leg. By the way, the next league game, we've got cheeky one against Arsenal, because that's not going to be tough at all. It never rains, but it pours. After a reasonable amount of time later, we are back for the game against Sporting in the second leg. Now, just to recap, we did obviously lose the semi-final of the FA Cup. We then drew against Arsenal 2-2, with a 68th minute penalty being the thing that kind of saved us. Although it wasn't a close game, so I was about to say it was close. It wasn't. Arsenal were the better team, but we just hung in there, which I'm very proud of. Also, a Tuesta, another goal for him, very good to see. Crystal Palace, 3-1. Closer than it seems. Tuesta did pick up a small knock in that one, but Ben Cook did get a goal, as did Ute, as did Mapiu, which is good to see. We then drew against Sporting in the first leg away from home, which, to be honest, my kind of benchmark is if we can avoid losing in the away leg, we're golden. I'm very happy with that. Ben Cook with a 79th minute equaliser, doing the business. Like Nuri picking up a small knock, but not one that is a kind of a big one to worry about. And then we went to Villa Park and beat Villa 2-0, which I feel like a local rivalry, how good your team is, as long as you're not like drastically worse than them or better than them, everything else kind of goes out the window, and it is just about who wants it more on the day. Tuesta got a goal in the 48th minute, and Jara finally scored a goal for the first time in a long time in the 76th minute. He missed a howler moments before as well, so it was good to see him actually put it in the back of the net. So yeah, that was fantastic. And that brings us to Sporting. Sporting, again, just to remind you, second in the Portuguese league by 2 points to Benfica. Their league is 18 games, 15, 16, 17, 34. I want to say 34 games, so they've got 2 games to try and turn that around. They're going to have more things in mind than just playing us, so they've got a lot to focus on. Whereas ourselves in the Premier League, which we will be focusing on in the next video, we cannot fall outside of the Europa Conference League places. We can't fall lower than 7th. I don't even think we can fall lower than 6th. What we're aiming to do is, can we get further forward in the league, and can we finish, say, in 5th or 4th or something along those lines. We are guaranteed Conference League. It's not guaranteed whether that is the minimum. That's the minimum we've got. It's not guaranteed whether we will get that or more. Hopefully it'll be more, but we'll find out. Anyway, let's see whether we can get ourselves to the Europa League final. Because remember, if we get to the Europa League final, the result doesn't matter. We're a Champions League club next season. Let's try and make that happen. This is 11 we're going to be hoping can do that. It is going to be Trafford in goal, Ute, Owino and Hughes in defence, Dallas and Tavares as the fullbacks with Shokwist and Andre in the middle, and we've got Fernandes supporting Cook and Atuesta up front. Let's see whether we can get ourselves to another cheeky cup final. We've already had 3 out of a possible 4 in the last season and a half. Obviously last season was only half a season with Wolves. So let's see whether we can add another one to the list and maybe even win it. I haven't actually looked at the other side of the draw to see who would be waiting for us. We are not ahead already though, so we have got work to do, but we are in front of our home fans. Hopefully that will be enough to carry us to glory. Or we go out in the semi-final with our heads held high and we focus on the league for the remainder of the 2 games that we have left to try and see if we can get a Champions League place that way. I've got a feeling we're probably not going to get in the Champions League. For us to get in the Champions League, we need to win both of our games and we need, I forget who was the 4th place team. We need them, in an ideal world, to lose both of their games, or we rely on other competitions putting a Champions League spot to the league. I mean, for example, if we were to win the Europa League but finished 5th, then the Europa League's the Champions League spot that we would get from this would go to the league. We nearly conceded very early on. Trincao doing very, very good work there. We need to be very, very careful because we are, I think, looking at their team, we're the better team, but they're very well drilled and they're in the title fight, so they're obviously more than capable of beating us, which we need to remember. We're used to just having this way about us of finding victories against teams that we probably shouldn't have any chance of beating. Shokwist does really well there. Gets it into Cook. Ben Cook now looking to make it 1-0, and he does with a 27th goal of the season. Wonder kid Ben Cook is doing wonderful things in this Wolves side. And it is 1-0. It's 2-1 on aggregate. And is that the start of things to come to get us into a Europa League final? I really hope it is. Shokwist doing really well to intercept and get the pass away there. And we do make it 1-0 on the night at Molineux. I'm a little bit concerned with how we've started, to be honest with you, because it does look like Sporting are doing very well. Their midfield is kind of having it all their own way at the moment, so we do need to try and disrupt that a little bit. I might have a look at what we can do to instruct our players to kind of let them know who's boss. I mean, Ketcher's dropped down a bit. Hjulmand is doing apparently a very good job in there. Right, Fernandes into Cook. Cook tackle. Fernandes though into Atuesta. Back to Fernandes to Tavares. Fernandes bossing things at the moment. Tavares going for a goal there. I'd rather he didn't do that. I'd rather with him stayed outside, but he didn't do that. Shokwist's pass enough to get into a 7.5. He's having a very good game so far. Andre not so much. Andre, this season has been quite disappointing. Last season he was very good for us in that half season, but so far this year, not really feeling it. It's making me wonder whether if an offer came in this summer, whether we let him go and cash in on him. Half-time, 1-0. We're all over them, but only the 1 goal to show for it. I'm going to go attacking because I don't trust a 1-goal lead. I want at least 2. I'm going to go to the dressing room. Why was I doing that? Go to the dressing room, Stu. We'll say that one and let's motivate. So Dan Hughes, not having the best of games. We'll have a quick chat with him. Owino, I'll have a quick chat with him. Tavares, I'll have a quick chat with him. Right, Andre, not happy. You need to sort things out. You're not doing too badly. And Atuesta, I'll say not good enough. We'll just try and get a bit more out of him. But Atuesta, to be fair, he's earned a lot of tenure with me now. Just because he is starting to look a bit better. He's starting to play better. He's been scoring more regularly. I don't mind if he has the occasional off game. I'm tempted to make a message with Andre and bring on Matt O'Reilly. Do you know what? I'm doing it. I'm kind of done with Andre this season. I think he needs to get the whole transfer thing out of his head, which hopefully he will do in the summer. And then what he needs to do is just train as a central midfielder, because up until recently he's been training as a defensive midfielder. So we need to train him as a centre mid, deep line playmaker on defence, and hopefully that'll sort him out. Right, I'm thinking Bajetic as well for Dan Hughes. But Dan Hughes is not having necessarily a bad game, so I don't feel like there's much to be gained from doing that. So we're going to leave things as they are. 1 substitution is fine. again, we're sending a message to Andre that he needs to sort his life out a little bit. And let's go into the second half and let's see whether we can get a second goal. Again, we have gone attacking just to try and force the issue a little bit. We want to be on the front foot. We don't want to let Sporting take control of the game, because all it takes is one goal and then that's it. I don't like the fact, however, match momentum wise though, it looks like they're doing that. Although we are starting to come back into it. We are having more chances now. Atuesta's not actually having a particularly good game today, so he might be coming off soon. I'm quite happy just to limp home 1-0, but I'd feel more comfortable if we can get more than one goal. Right, Atuesta is going to come off for Jara. Let's give Jara a chance. He scored in the last game, so why not? Dan Hughes is now going to come off for Bajetic. Bajetic and Ute are going to swap around. No, Bajetic can do a job. I'm sure we can do a job as a centre-back on this side. Let's have a quick double check. No, he actually cannot. So Ute, who has no side preference, will go over there. Bajetic will go to the right because he prefers to play on the right. I'm now considering fitness. So Ait Nouri is going to come on for Tavares. Although Tavares is having a good game, that is just to cover fitness. We'll leave it at that. We've got one more substitution to make should we need it. We just need to try and get over the line here. We've got just over 20 minutes in game to hold on or get another goal. I would prefer it to be us getting another goal. We have a free kick. Cook goes for the shot, hits the crossbar, and oh my word, how did we not do something there? The ball ended up at Shawquist's feet, but it was just in a position where we couldn't do anything. So it's very unfortunate there. We should be 2-0 up, really, I think. And the amount of chances that we've had, it's a bit of a shock that we're not. But do you know what? It's all good. I'm going to slow the tempo down and slow our passing down. Let's just try and hold on to the ball a little bit more. I'm not going to time waste, but let's just try and control things a bit better. Let's just try and be a little bit more pragmatic with what we're doing. Ute nearly does it. Awino nearly does it. But we do not get that second goal. The longer we go, though, the more it doesn't matter. But it would just be a bit of a killer. They, by the way, have had a substitution. Have had an injury after all their substitutes have been made. They are down to 10 men. Ivan Toney is the only striker they have on the pitch. We're going to make our final change here. Caceres is going to come on for the final few minutes, and he's going to replace Shawquist. Caceres has had a couple of games where he's looked pretty decent, actually. Though he is a 2-star player, it's because of the role we're using him in. He's actually got the ability to be a 2.5-star player right now. Potential-wise, he's through the roof. But that, we've limped home a little bit there in terms of our finishing, but we've done enough, and we have a Europa League final. And my understanding of that is, and I'm hoping the game is going to confirm this now to me, my understanding is, it doesn't say it here, I believe we now have a Champions League spot. And we've got Fiorentina in the final, who are 9th in Serie A. We should be able, as a 7th, 6th place, whatever Premier League team, we should be able to beat them. Whether we do or not is another matter. But I believe that means we're going to be in the Champions League next season. I know I've already shown you this previously, but let me just show you again. Rules, okay? So final, continental qualification, winner. So it's winner. Okay, right. So I've read this incorrectly. So the winner qualifies for... Why is it there twice? I don't know why it's there twice. So we need to win it. It's not just about getting to the final. We need to win it. Okay. I've been under a slight misconception there, which is my fault, because I didn't read it properly. Which is completely my bad. We need to win this to get into the Champions League. If we don't win it, then, well, this is the state of play going into the final 2 games of the season. The next video, by the way, will be the final 2 league games. One against Chelsea and the other one against bottom of the table Burnley. And then we will play that Europa League final in its own video. I've stayed over on this side. I've just realised normally I've moved myself back over that way onto the other side of the screen. That's what happens when you're recording party video past midnight. But yeah, so Fiorentina is a few days after the Burnley game. Do we skip Chelsea? Or do we play Chelsea? Do we do 2 videos to finish the season off, or do we do 1? I'm tempted to do just the 1, and maybe we just do Burnley and Fiorentina, or maybe we've been off the final 2 league games, because there's really not much to play for. Again, the maximum that can happen negatively is we lose both of the games and we finish in 7th. The best that can happen, the absolute best, is that we win both of our games and Spurs lose both of theirs, Liverpool lose all 3 of theirs, and we sneak into 4th, which I think is very unlikely that is going to happen. I believe we're going to finish in 6th, because all we need to cement that is basically win a game, or even draw a game. I think, yeah, if we draw one. No, I can't do simple maths. No, we need to basically we need to win one or avoid losing, and we should be fine in 6th. All of which is a long way to say we will come back for Chelsea, we will come back for Burnley. We'll play those 2 in the next video, and then we'll do Fiorentina in its own separate one, and then we'll have a transfer special. That feels like the way to go. Just a reminder though, I just want to sing this guy's praises because he has roared into form. I mean, he's not perfect, don't get me wrong. There's still the occasional game where he's not looking great. I mean, Crystal Palace, he was on a good rating, but he was injured, so he probably would have scored there, to be honest. Didn't do that well against Sporting. Didn't do that well against Sporting either game, actually. But, again, scored against Arsenal, which was great. Not that great against Newcastle, but great against Frankfurt, both games. In fact, no, only the second game, rather. He was great against Brighton. He was good against Leicester. Yeah. I think we've solved him. We need a strike partner, and ideally it needs to be in the 5 at the back. We just need to solve Andre now, because he has really been quite poor for the most part. Played well against Crystal Palace, to be fair. Did okay against Newcastle and did okay against Leicester. But yeah, we need to try and fully sort him, because there's a few poor performances in here that I can't really reconcile with. Right, the recording of this video has gone on way too long, because I've let it record for way longer than I intended to a certain part, so I need to do a bit of an editing job on this. So we will be back for the final 2 games of the league season against Chelsea, against Burnley, and then after that, in the following video, it's Europa League final o'clock. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, do not forget to leave a like on there for me, and do not forget to subscribe as well. It's free to do so, and to put a big smile on this face right here. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.